Hello again, it's me, and welcome to THC Public Access TV, where we're going to talk about cannabis and all the rest of it. Let's jump right into it. Let's open up the phone lines and take our first caller. All right, Silas from Maryville, what do you got?
Good morning. Anytime I hear about cannabis, I hear about 420 this and 420 that. I'm hearing conflicting info on what it means. Where do these numbers come from?
I get you. And I get the question. And it's pretty apropos because no one gets numbers like yours truly. Where does the term 420 come from? Let's unwrap the mystery while we debunk some misconceptions. One of the most prevalent misconceptions is that the term 420 actually comes from the police. That it originated as a police code for cannabis-related offenses. Sounds good on paper, but 420 isn't related to any police code here or anywhere. Also keep in mind police codes vary from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. So 420 being universal doesn't really mesh with this because no police code is universal. There is not a universal 420 code, and reverse engineering this for the context is as silly as it sounds. Yeah, we got a 311 on some kids playing nu metal in the 90s. Yeah, we have a 316 here in progress. Some guy said he just whipped my ass. Yeah, it looks like we have an F-150 of someone following way too close with their high beams on at night. You see? You see how silly? So let's put that misconception to rest. Okay, and for the second one, I need to be a little bit careful because the family likes to sue. There is a popular myth that April 20 is the date that the biggest icon in reggae music passed away. You know who I'm talking about. Let's just call him Mob Barley. This would be a touching tribute to the famous herbsman, if it were true. Mob Barley passed away on May 11th, not 420. So if you're commemorating his life on 420, you're actually 21 days early. Early for something. Oh. So then you know it's not cannabis related. I'm just kidding. Cannabis people are early for a lot of things. Like bedtime. There's also some academics out there, degree holders, nerd herders, that say 420 refers to the number of chemical compounds in the cannabis plant. Negative. There are more than 550 chemical compounds in cannabis, with over 100 of them being cannabinoids. This is a creative, wrong, interesting, wrong interpretation of the term 420. While cannabis does contain a number of compounds, it's way more than that number, so completely false. So now let's explore the true origins of 420. It all goes back to the 1970s in Marin County, California, at San Rafael School. This school had a group of attendees who called themselves the Waldos, and like Waldo, they're very hard to find, possibly because they're in jail. But the Waldos got their name from their unique meeting place. The Waldos had a wall near the school they attended, and the Waldos would meet at that barrier. The year was 1971, and they decided to search for a rumored patch of cannabis in their area. Because this activity was illegal, the Waldos could not meet at their usual meeting place. They had to pick somewhere else. They would meet at a statue of famous French scientist Louis Pasteur. They would meet at this statue on the campus to begin their search for some green gold. And what time would they meet? 4:20 p.m. From this point and then after, the term 420 was used amongst the Waldos to communicate that they were talking about cannabis. A way for them to discreetly discuss their plans without drawing unwanted attention. Their aim was to keep cannabis-related activities confidential. And little did they know they were planting the seeds for a cultural phenomenon. A covert, well, not so much anymore, way of discussing marijuana. But these students were just a small cadre of fanatics. How did this term catch on? One of these Waldos eventually had connections to Jerry Garcia and the Grateful Dead. And they had these connections at the height of the Dead's popularity. Stuck in their school days, one of these Waldos began to use the term 420 in association with cannabis and cannabis use in this circle. A circle which was at the forefront of music and cannabis culture all at the same time. The phenomenon grew to such an extent that today, April 20th, 420, is celebrated worldwide as a day of cannabis advocacy and cannabis appreciation. So from a simple time in the 70s at San Rafael to a simple code whispered amongst friends. Friends who met at a statue of an old French scientist that was born in the mid-1800s on a snowy winter's day or something. To a global symbol of cannabis culture. The term 420 has come a long way. It's no longer just a time or a date, it is a rallying cry. A rallying cry for everyone who calls for cannabis reform. Not to mention a great day of celebration. So I hope that dispels some of the rumors, and I hope it answers your question.
Thank you for the answer. But just a quick correction. Louis Pasteur wasn't born in the mid-1800s. No. He was born in 1822. And it wasn't snowy. As my mother recalls, it was quite balmy for a September day.
Wait, how do you... Silas. Who is this?